Basically, the Green Party suspends a disabled member who complains about ableist comments using the evidence supplied by the person they complained about, and I had no right to reply. Still to this day, I have no idea if anything's going to happen about all the complaints I made. Hi folks, how you doing? I'm Ross and this is Grow Your Own Life. I'm sure loads of you know who have watched my channel what it's all about, but I need to do a really quick synopsis because it will make sense in the long run. But basically, my channel Grow Your Own Life, I created it as a way to vlog about my disability and how getting outside really helped me overcome mental health problems regarding being made redundant, how my condition was getting worse, and how to encourage other people to be look at nature, I suppose, and being outdoors as a way of improving your life. Let's grow our lives was the message behind it. Because of this, I joined the local Green Party. Well, I joined the Green Party and I looked around locally about finding out how I can get involved with the Green Party. And although the Green Party around here I thought was non-existent, there was one. It was just very small. Because my background was advertising, marketing, I volunteered and said I'd help out. And I was basically pushed into the comms role. I told them straight away that obviously because of my disability, I was a little bit unreliable. I didn't know my good days from my bad days. There's a lot more into this, but I'm trying to keep this very short. But I was quite happy to be Green Party Malcolm Tucker for the local party. If you watch the thick of it, you'll know what that's all about. So I made a video about this, which we'll come back to. But basically, I went to meetings and stuff, and it wasn't what I thought. There was a lot of mismanagement in the local area, and it soon became apparent to me why the local Green Party wasn't very successful, and other people told me the same. So there were a lot of things going wrong, but there's a lot of things that I thought that could be changed. It was just about getting certain people out of a mindset and doing a strategy that basically promoted ourselves. When I say ourselves, the Green Party locally to local people, because there was quite a focus on always dealing with national issues rather than local issues, and we had some really big local issues in Telford at the time. So anyway, cutting a long story short, and I made a video about this when this I put in a complaint about the local Green Party and how it was run before the snap election was announced, and the snap election was announced probably a week or 2 weeks after I put in my first complaint. When that snap election was announced, I knew that I couldn't vote for the Greens in my area. I'd been to the meetings, I'd met the people, I knew what it was about, and I couldn't, with good consciousness, ask people to vote Green. I put this in my video. I will put the link below. Anyway, I politely in a WhatsApp group said that I was stepping aside for the election. It wasn't fair that I run comms for the Green Party while the election was on. And then basically I would like to I'd come back after the election and we'd push forward to 2029. In the meantime, I received a really horrible phone call from the coordinator locally, who basically shouted and swore at me down the phone. One thing that was really, really hurt me, and again, there's so much more detail to this, but I'm going to keep it short. Basically, essentially, called me lazy. Now, if you're a disabled person, you'll get this, but there's a lazy disabled trope that gets used around, that whenever disabled people can't do something, or it's, oh, you're lazy. You see it in the newspapers all the time with disabled people out of work and all the rest of it. So I took offence to this, and rightly so. And there was other things. I was told that I knew nothing about politics. I was also, when I stepped aside, I handed over the laptop and I handed over the passwords and other things. I even had a reply back from the person I'd given them to when I'd asked them, have you got everything you need? They'd replied, yes, everything's good. And they'd asked me for some pointers and help. It soon become clear to me, because other people, after I left the WhatsApp group, other people told me that I was being portrayed as being very malice, that I hadn't handed over the passwords, I hadn't handed over the laptop, and there were stories being told about me in the local Green Party that just weren't true. And then it came to my attention that they were discussing how, rather than campaigning for their election, They were discussing about how best to get me out of the party. So I put in multiple complaints to the Green Party head office, saying about how the language it was used towards me, the lies that were being used, and how my suspension was being discussed in a WhatsApp group with other members of the party. People who didn't know me, people who now probably out there in Telford think that I'm this person that was portrayed, when they were lies. It was just lies. For example, lazy, but I designed this T-shirt for the local Green Party. I told them they can have the design for free. We don't want any money for it. I knew people that wanted to buy some, get them printed. We could make some money for the party. The local party was always complaining about how it had no money. I knew these would sell. The coordinator got a couple printed. Well, this is one of them. Nothing else happened to it. But I'm the lazy one. Anyway, I could sit here and talk about this and all the things that went wrong all day, but I'm sure you've got things to do. So what happened was I put in more complaints to the Green Party. I heard nothing back. Literally heard nothing back. No replies to my emails. Nothing. And then after the election, I received an email basically stating that they'd actually just transcribed one of my videos, and they'd literally just they just transcribed it, put it in an email, and basically said, this is evidence that you were tactical voting, and therefore we're suspending you from the party for 5 years. No right to reply, no nothing. I was just done. So what essentially happened was a Green Party member, myself, complained in June about how the party was run. He was then attacked and harassed. An ableist trope was thrown against him, and then his suspension was being discussed in WhatsApp groups, which is a breach of Green Party code of conduct. Another complaint was put in about my suspension being discussed in WhatsApp group, and I heard nothing back. And then in August, I have a letter saying I'm suspended from the party. Now, I know I'm suspended from the party come from the coordinator, because this was discussed in WhatsApp groups, so they kind of shot themselves in the foot. So what happened was the Green Party HQ basically completely ignored all of my concerns and all of my complaints, waited till after the election, and then used evidence supplied by the person I'd complained about to get me suspended for 5 years. So yeah, basically, the Green Party suspends a disabled member who complains about ableist comments using the evidence supplied by the person they complained about, and I had no right to reply. Still to this day, I have no idea if anything's going to happen about all the complaints I made, but I do know that the person who complained about me and got me suspended is still in charge of the local Green Party. So I just wanted, because obviously over the last few years I've put quite a few videos out about how we should all vote Green and should get involved, and I'm an environmentalist and I wanted to support, and I'm political, I like politics, and I wanted to do something to help out, but I think you all need to know just how badly run the Green Party is, and not just on a local level. Yeah, a lot of my problems now are local, obviously, but the fact that when I needed help, I went to the National Party for help, and rather than help me, they basically sided with the person I was complaining about, without even discussing it, talking anything to me. They just took their word for it, just doubled down, and I got a 5-year suspension because of the video in the link below. Now watch that video and tell me if that's worth a 5-year suspension. And then bear in mind, they told me that they suspended me because of endorsement of tactical voting. Yet during the election campaign, I received an email from the Green Party saying that in Herefordshire, the Green Party was the tactical vote. So it's a party of double standards, isn't it? They're happy to break the rules when it suits them. And they're happy also then to manipulate things and twist things in order to get certain individuals kicked out of the party. So yeah, so as I've said, I could quite easily talk about this all day because there is so many incidents and so many things that happened in the Green Party that were wrong. Give you an example. I was in charge of comms, or supposed to be in charge of comms. There was a lot of leaflets that were being produced that were about the protests regarding the conflict in Gaza. And there was a lot of words that were used, language and pictures and stuff that I didn't agree with. But I had no say in any of this comms material. And when I spoke to the head office about it and said, "What? Surely a comms officer should have say in what is printed on Green Party literature," and they said, "Oh no, on a local level, as long as the coordinator and the secretary agree, then it can be printed." And I was like, "Well, they live together, so basically, if you're a husband and wife, or a boyfriend and girlfriend, or boyfriend and boyfriend, whatever else, if you're a couple." And you get yourself into a position where one of you is a coordinator and one of you is the secretary of a local Green Party, you can pretty much print whatever you want, and your members don't have a say in it, nor does your comms officer have a say in it. That is mad. That is absolute craziness, in my opinion. And that is probably one of the reasons why the Green Party struggles up and down the country, because there's no unification. It's just a series of satellite egos doing whatever they want. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some exceptional local Green Parties out there. I don't want to tar and feather everyone with the same brush. But that's a fundamental flaw if that's your political strategy going forward. And that's before we even get into the handling of complaints. If the way my complaint's been dealt with by the Green Party, it's quite hard, to be fair. I feel I'm very thick-skinned. 40 years of being bullied, kind of, you build up some kind of tolerance to it. But there's certain things that obviously cut through. Being called lazy is one of them. And if I hate to think what would happen if someone made a complaint to the Green Party along similar lines as me, and they weren't as thick-skinned, and then all of a sudden they hear nothing, and then one day they're just told, actually, you've been suspended. That's the massive concern for me. That's a massive worry, that there's potentially people out there within the Green Party who are writing emails and making phone calls saying, "Please help me." Essentially what I was doing, I need to talk to someone, please help me, because this isn't right and I can see it's not right. And then rather than ever replying to them, or ever, they basically just take the side of the other person and then essentially kick you out without having to listen to you. I think in my case it's basically been a cover up, and they've decided, you know what, it'll be much easier if we just get rid of him out of the party, and then we'll carry on being unsuccessful as usual. But then again, like I said, I think it's some of the local parties, it's about scratching personal egos rather than about making any significant change to society or the planet, to be fair. But that's for a different video. So what I want to say is that if you're considering joining the Green Party, I genuinely think twice. I seriously would, because I think the party's broken and it's certainly not a safe place. Well, it's not a safe place for me as a disabled person. I feel completely let down. I did have a reply from Carla Denya via Instagram, because in the end, after I was suspended, I Instagram messaged her saying about how horrible my experience had been joining the Green Party. She replied basically saying that I could put, if that was the case, I could put in a complaint. On which I replied saying that I'd emailed multiple times and never heard back, so I didn't see the point of what filling out a complaint form would do. But I was happy to talk to somebody if they wanted to find out more about the situation. It's been about 6 weeks now, a month maybe. I haven't heard anything. So it's clear that they're not interested really at all. And as I've said, I've been told I've been suspended for 5 years for tactical voting, even though I know the Green Party were promoting tactical voting, which says to me I wasn't suspended for tactical voting. I was suspended because I put in a complaint about a senior person, about how they reacted to people, about an ableist trope, and rather than investigate it, the Green Party found it easier to suspend me for 5 years. I imagine knowing that rather than hang around and come back in 5 years, I'll quit, which is what I will do. Yes, you should know about this, particularly if you're involved in the Green Party. If you're a Green Party member and you're giving your money every month to the Green Party, or every year, however you do your subscription, and you're not going to meetings at your local party, I suggest you go. I suggest you go, and I suggest you look about how your money's being spent, who's spending it, and the people who are in charge of your local Green Party, because they're essentially not vetted in any way, as far as what I can come up with. Now, I was told that in my local area there was about 80 to 90 members, of which 4 would regularly turn up. Now, there's a lot of members there that have no idea about the ins and outs of how badly run Telford and Wrekin Green Party is. And look, I'm not saying you should quit the Green Party. I'm not. If you're happy, it's your political decision. But you should certainly find out how your local Green Party is being run. And if you have any concerns, I genuinely raise questions with the national arm, as it were. But I wouldn't hold your breath, because I genuinely don't think they're interested. And I think that the way they allow local parties to be almost satellites of the National Party, it gives the National Party a bit of plausible deniability when things like this happen. And if that's the ethos of their political movement, then it's not one that I want to be involved in. So yeah, I'm sorry this is a bit of a rubbish video, but you all need to know, I'd hate for people to look back on my old videos and see me going, yes, vote Green, and not realising that just how torrid a time I've had trying to work with the local Green Party. Anyway, onwards and upwards. And if anyone wants a Telford and Wrekin Green Party t-shirt, let me know. I'm genuinely serious. I'll pop it in the post for you free of charge, because I'm not wasting it. It's clothing waste, but I certainly can't wear it anymore. And it's a shame, actually. It's a lovely little design, if I do say so myself. So, yeah. On that bombshell, folks, take care. Speak soon.